Hey everyone, Felipe here. Welcome to another Tower of Saviors GNN review video. This week we're going to have a pretty short one, I think, because it only says that we have Crown Titan Cronus Ultimate Trial as well as a new bi-weekly stage. So without further ado, let's take a look at the news. So we have Crown Titan Cronus Ultimate Trial, new bi-weekly stage titled Trills Mia. So for the new ultimate stage, we're going to have the malignant nurtured by the hatred of gods. So it looks like we're going to have the new character from the Shore story. Let's see, Dark God set up as ultimate stage. So we have a leader skill, attack of dark members times 6, attack of dark god members times 8, and god HP attack and recovery will increase by 1.6 additionally. This actually doesn't seem too bad. Times 6 times 8, that's a 48 base. Actually, plus 8 times 6, 1.6 multiplier. That seems like a pretty decent attack multiplier. But if it's just that, then maybe not. But let's take a look at the team skills to see if there's any passives, utilities, or any other things that would make Cronus an actual good leader for this game. Let's see, we have team skill, Crown Titan Cronus, and 3 Dark Gods in the team. Skill CD minus. Okay, so. I mean, okay, as a leader, I don't think he's gonna be good. Which, honestly, we should have expected this because usually free to play cards or like Ultimate Stage cards that come out, they don't typically have that good of a leader potential, except for like Pre Molcar and Godzilla, but their livelihood was also very limited. For Cronus, he has really good multiplier, but he doesn't really have any passives or team skills that will help him in his as a leader, right? There's no runestone possession effect, there's no um, shield breaking potential, there's not anything. The main one here is that there's no way for you to generate attacking runes, and there's also no way to avoid runestone drought because you don't have any runestone possession effect on your team skill. Even if you have good damage multipliers, if you cannot launch attacks, that damage multiplier is going to be rendered useless. So because he doesn't have any attacking runes, or generation, or runestone possession effect, he is going to be a pretty leader. Uh, you can definitely use him in certain scenarios like early game and stuff because he is going to be pretty good for early game because he has really high multiplier. But the thing is, if your early game, you don't necessarily have the needs to get the ultimate stage cards because ultimate stage cards can be kind of challenging to acquire if you are early game. So all in all, I think as a leader, he is going to be pretty useless because there's not much going on for his leader skill and team skill unless you want to run a meme team or just flex on people about clearing endgame content with him because he can definitely do it provided you have super OP members. For example, Anubis, AR Gemini, I don't know, all these dark gods that we have access to. Just stack the team with super overpowered units, and you might be able to clear something, but generally speaking, his leader skill is pretty terrible. So now let's take a look at his active skill, which looks pretty long, and that's usually kind of promising because that means it has a lot to do. CD, ooh, okay, this better be a good active skill. So we have Gods enter and stay in a hyper state for 2 rounds. Petrify all enemies for 2 rounds to inactivate them. Alter the attributes into light. By tapping a runestone on the magic circle of elements, explode that type of runestones to generate enchanted runestones not of that type. For 2 rounds, after dissolving runestones, the first batch to be dropped will be enchanted runes of that type. Oh, okay, wait, so this seems like a pretty good active skill if it weren't so freaking long. CD10 CD10 is kind of insane. Like there is so much, yeah, you have to stall for so much time to get this ready. Yes, it is a really, really good skill, but unless you have like a CD reset at the beginning of the round, a CD reset passive skill, this one might only come to play very like at the end of the stages, and that's not too bad. But the fact that it's so long means that you will probably only activate it once during the battle. And I don't know about you, but like nowadays, stages are becoming more and more restrictive in terms of utility and stuff, where you need to activate your skills more than once, most likely. And there's also not that much places for you to stall for CD if you want to be completely efficient. You can, and it might be hard, but having to stall for 10 rounds seems a little bit much for me. But don't get me wrong, this skill is absolutely insane. Like, it does so much, but it's only held back by the cooldown being 10 rounds. Um, so this is because like, the first effect, actually all of them are good effects. The first effect will give you a hyper stay, which increases your damage, but it also uh, prevents you from debuffs like fatigue. So like if you have a hyper state, fatigue will not kick in. So because of that, you can avoid getting fatigued for like I don't know 5 rounds. That being said, if you have 5 rounds fatigue, you could stall for CD cooldowns and stuff, depending on the enemy, because it could kill you with 100% HP reduction or something like that. But yeah, hyper state is good because it can overwrite fatigue or prevent fatigue as well. Petrifying enemies to inactivate them, that's a very good control skill, provided you can only do it if the enemy is not uncontrollable, which nowadays the big bosses that have really annoying enemy skills are uncontrollable because Madhead doesn't want you to inactivate them. That being said, for any other enemies that might be annoying, inactivate them for 2 rounds. It's usually good because it gives you more time to spin, more time to build up your skills, gives you more time to kill them, things like that. Alter their attributes into light, also good because it plays along with Cronus's attribute. Because he is dark, he will launch dark attacks, and you probably will be running him in a combination of either mono god or mono dark teams, maybe rainbows. But the fact that you're changing their attribute into light will benefit him because his attack will be super effective. But if you're running a mono dark team, that also benefits the entire team because now your entire team is going to be dealing super effective damage against the enemy. That is pretty good. But the third one, also really good, explode all of a desired runestone. So if, for example, you have full light electrified runes, you can get rid of all of them. And that is pretty good because you can get rid of board debuffs like that. And if there's a Trojan effect, a like runestone nullifying effect, a runestone block, things like that, this one can also help you with that because you are exploding the runestones of that type to generate runestones of not that type. So, say for example, you have uh, I don't know, a light combo nullifying skill, but you have a bunch of light runes on the board. It's going to make it really hard to spin. But if you activate this skill, you can get rid of all the light runes on the board, and you are not generating any light runes, which means you have zero risk for doing a first batch combo nullifying combo, right? So that's really good. And for example, for runestone blocking as well, you can get rid of all those runestones that are blocked and you can dissolve with no issues. However, I would advise against that because the first batch of runestones to be dropped will be enchanted runes of the type you tapped. So if there's runestone block, everything that falls on the first batch will be blocked. And that is not going to be that good for you because it's going to give you a very dead board, not give you attacking runes, and things like that. But other than that, the fourth effect is pretty good in my opinion because if you are able to generate those runes that you destroyed, you are still able to break enchanted quintet shield, or you can break quintet shields, um, things like that. Because nowadays, what happens is that Madhead gives you a quintet elemental shield, but gives you one of the elements that cannot be dissolved in the first batch. And if you do, then the enemy attacks you, counterattacks you, kills you, things like that. But if you can explode all the runes of that combo nullifying attribute, and then get Skydrop, that will satisfy the condition for you to get basically all the attributes for a Quintet Elemental Shield. This will also help for high number attribute shields because the entire first batch will be that runestone. So if you do a full board dissolve, you can potentially get 30 runes of that type and break easy shields. So honestly, in a vacuum, his skill is really, really good. There's a lot of things going on for him. There's a petrified, 2 rounds deactivation, 2 rounds hyperstate. You can explode things and generate a lot of attacking runes. The only thing that is holding him back is going to be that cooldown 10 active skill. That is an absolutely insane cooldown. Um, but yeah, which you can limit it with his team skill because it looks like his team skill is not for leader, it's just a team passive. But you do need 3 or more Dark Gods in the team, and now he has a CD8. CD8 is a little bit more manageable, yeah. CD10 is just super long, but for what it does, it is a very good active skill. If you can have him at CD8, this is also very decent. So I would suggest running him only if you have 3 or more Dark Gods in the team, because this cooldown here is a permanent cooldown, not a temporary cooldown. So his skill will become CD8 for the entire battle, and that is going to be more beneficial and better in my opinion. Honestly, they should have just made this CD8. I don't care about this team skill. They could have just ignored that team skill, not given him a team skill. Just made this CD8 and it would have been good, you know? Yeah, Petrify to inactivate them, those skills are usually on the longer cooldown side. So that makes sense, CD8. CD10 is just too much, too restrictive. Um, So in terms of farming for this card, if you're running any team that has 3 or more Dark God teams, this card will be a good addition. If not, there are better options that you can use that have shorter cooldowns as well as can do what he does better at shorter cooldowns. So honestly, not a bad card by all means. It's just going to be a little bit more situational because of his team building restriction and his long cooldown. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Cronus. This is my first time seeing the card, so I'm also like trying to organize my thoughts because he does a lot. But his cooldown is so freaking long. Okay, anyways, moving on to Title Trills Mia, which is going to be the new bi-weekly stage. And usually bi-weekly stages, you know, pretty simple skills, so let's take a look at her skill. CD6, well, pretty good. Turn the 3 columns on the left into water, fire, earth, and heart runes of fixed numbers and fixed positions. That is going to be 3 columns, 5, 15, 14 for 4 types of rune souls. Wait, do they have a graphic on how it's distributed? No. So, well, the thing I'm thinking about right now is that you are turning the 3 columns on the left. That is 15 runestones. But if you have 4 types of runes of fixed numbers and fixed positions, I'm wondering how it is distributed. Uh, Honestly, it might be like 4, 4, 4, and then 3 on one, either way. But anyways, that is good. And other Crystal Octavius members skill CDs -2. For 2 rounds, all runestones possess the effect of light runes. Combo count increases +3. Okay, hear me out. I am going to say this card is really good. Like, honestly, because it's a bi-weekly card and it's going to be easy to farm, you should definitely get a dual max version of this. And the reason for that is because cooldowns, whatever, CD6 is pretty nice, I know. But the thing is that cards that are able to generate the different groups are actually kind of rare. And sometimes I've struggled to find a card that can do that. And what I mean by so in TOS, there's two different groups. Like in terms of attribute relations, there is water, fire, earth, and then light, dark, right? And typically, water, fire, earth cards will skew towards generating water, fire, earth and destroying light and dark. And light and dark has the same thing, where typically, whenever you activate their conversion skills, they are very good at generating light runes or dark runes, and also getting rid of water, fire, earth. Same thing with water, fire, earth, they will get rid of light and dark. So it is very hard to find light and dark cards that can generate water, fire, and earth runes. And honestly, having that kind of utility is very specialized, and I don't think I've seen too many of those cards. So this one, just by the first effect itself, it is just a conversion skill, but the fact that you are tapping into the other side of the attribute system makes it really good in my opinion. Plus, you are also getting Runestone Possession effect, because usually light and dark teams, they don't they will have like light dark possession, unless it's like, all runestones possess the effect of everything. But this card will give you water or runestone possession effect of the runestones you converted to light runes. So that also means that you are getting attacking runes even if you convert with this skill. And you also get a combo count +3. So that is really good. Combo count +3, it's very little, but it will push you over the requirements of certain enemy skills. For example, a 10 combo shield, it's very hard to do on a normal board, but 7 combos on a normal board is actually kind of easy to do, so you can break those 10 combo shields with a 7 combo if you have this skill. Additionally, this skill is also really good at breaking trio elemental shields that may otherwise be a little bit challenging for light and dark teams. Um, then you have Crystal Octavius skill cooldown -2. Crystal Octaviuses are not that useful for now because we've only had 2 at the moment. But Mia herself is actually kind of good. So I think she is going to be pretty good. She also has some bonding skills with Frederick and Hugo. But, by herself, I think her skill is worth dual maxing. So you will just obtain this bonding skill regardless. So that's good. Yeah, CD6 with Runestone Possession as well as combo count increase with the ability to generate Water, Fire, Earth on a light card is going to be very beneficial. There aren't that many cards, or there aren't that many light cards that can generate Water, Fire, Earth, and that is going to be a very good benefit for having her in your inventory. So definitely one of the few bi-weekly cards that what I will actually recommend, because you never know when you're going to need that utility. It is probably going to be rare, very situational, but when you need it, it is going to be there. And because she is a bi-weekly card, she's easy to get, so I don't feel bad recommending for you to get her. But yeah, then we also have monthly challenge October. Oh no, I need to do my September challenges. Well, I always procrastinate my challenges. October challenge is coming up. Um, you know, make sure you clear your level 1s to level 10s to get the free rewards. And I will probably be clearing September challenges soon because I need to get those rewards. But yeah, that's the end of this week's GNN news. We have um, a pretty short one. It seems like we are like at the lull of the news, and maybe next week we are going to be getting a bigger installment. I know Matt had, or I've seen some polls online that they're asking for collaboration reruns. So maybe next patch we will have a collaboration announcement, and that will give us a larger GNN to analyze. But yeah, in summary, for this GNN news, a pretty short one, we have the new Ultimate Stage boss, Crown Titan Cronus, which has a leader skill that is featured, but his leader skill is pretty bad, and has a pretty decent active skill. However, his skill cooldown is way too long, so to make him useful, you have to run 3 or more Dark Gods in the team to make his skill CD8, and that is still a little bit long, but it is going to be more manageable as a whole. CD10 in a vacuum is going to be too long for his active skill, where you can replace him with other units, even though his skill is absolutely insane and does a lot of benefit for the team. In terms of the biweekly stage, she has a very unique active skill. CD8, CD6 is pretty quick, but the effects are very useful as well. Surprisingly useful for a biweekly card, if I may add. And definitely worth getting this card to dual max, and it will be one of the few biweekly cards I strongly recommend for you to dual max her because of her utility in her active skill. Other than that, we have some bonding skills, which if you are dual maxing her anyways, you will obtain them. And we have the new October challenge, which will debut on October 1st, which is next Saturday. But yeah, that's all for me for this week's GNN news. I hope you enjoyed this installment. And as always, please leave a comment on things I could do better, or if I missed anything, said anything wrong, make sure to let me know in the comments. I will pin any fixes, adjustments that I need to make. As always, just check out my YouTube channel. I do post regular Tower of Saviors content there, clear videos, card reviews, things like that, and let me know what kind of content you want to see so that I can start working on those videos. But yeah, for now, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye everyone!